And would you be acquiescent to that? Whatever's been pulling your attention, whatever thoughts have been circling, whatever emotions have been present, would you just let them be with you and visit with you? And feel free to do this your way. Move if you need to, journal if you need to, be in your process of getting with you. Once you get a beat on what's been happening for you internally, thoughts, feelings, sensations, anything that pops up, would you notice which energy centers are popping up for you to share some love with tonight? Just take note of which ones pop up for you and commit to spending a little extra time in that space as we do our clean out. So many of these things that come up for us are there to see if we pay attention to them, if we're able to honor them. So when one of them reaches out, give it a little bit of extra time. And here we go. Would you notice the energy in your pelvic bowl? Say hello to it without fixing, solving it, or needing to change it whatsoever. Whatever's there is good enough to work with for tonight. Would you breathe into your pelvic floor? Begin to let your hips, your yoni, your pelvic floor muscles, and your root open and move. Give it permission to exist. Your root is all about safety. Everything that is real for you in your life that you've got going on, it's because you're safe enough to have it. and everything that you want but you don't quite have yet, you're not safe enough to have it. And would you just giggle about that for a second? It's okay. You're going to get safe enough to have it over the years. That's why there's the calling on your heart to go have it, right? So would you be in this place with your root where you're honoring what you are able to have? If you're in a psychic class, there's some real privileges in your life that allow you to work with your energy, be in a class, and have what you have. So would you employ some yield spiritual gratitude in this space for everything that you do have? And just for tonight, do the radical thing of knowing that it's enough. It's enough for today. And would you say hello to the part of you that wants so much more than this? And would you embrace them? Say thank you. Thank you for being the creator. Thank you for wanting. Thank you for striving. Thank you for expanding. Thank you for making me uncomfortable so I know it's time to do that. Honor the dichotomy of it being enough and yet being the infinite creator that wants so much more. And if you haven't done this already, would you begin to move your energy into the center of your head, gently rolling your eyes in and up, really locking into the pineal gland this evening, giving yourself permission to inhabit that space, and then going ahead and doing it. This is a space of imagination, creativity. So with your imagination, would you find the color of gratitude? What does that represent to you this evening? And I want you guys to take a second and pop into the chat box with the color that you're seeing, just to kind of anchor it. Mine's a bit of a pinky gold color, which I was not expecting. Oh, nice. Rose quartz, orangish pink. It's funny. We're all matched to the pink color. Bright neon green. Nice. I love that. Soft pillowcase pink. Beautiful. Gradient orange, aqua green, super effervescent. Nice. Lilac, purple, pink shimmer. Yeah, Elsa. Deep rose. Beautiful. Look at that. You guys are turbo psychic. Would you go ahead and work with that color this evening? Would you saturate your whole root and then any other energy center that it wants to go in? It might just shoot right up the core of you. It might want to stay in your root. It's okay. Acquiesce. Let it happen. Would you let this color expand your seat of safety, giving you a lot of space, a lot of new layers of safety with things? Would you let this color drop through all the layers of the earth beneath you? Until you root right in to the core. And again, wherever you find yourself in your grounding practice this evening, will you just let it be enough? While also being gently curious about more. What would it feel like if you had more grounding this evening? More safety. Would you let your feet chakra open? Would you let them also inhabit the color of gratitude? Let the color work for you as it drops through the layers of the planet. And now you've got yourself a circuit of energy. Would you breathe and just receive? Let the earth energy come up. Let it run through your feet, your ankles, your calves, your shins. Releasing any tension in your lower legs and feet. Giving yourself your undivided attention, would you let the earth energy move through your knees, your thighs, the backs of your legs, into your hips and your booty. So fun to me that everybody's about the booty the past 10, 15, 20 years. Have you noticed that? We're actually starting to get into our bodies, into our lower chakras. Let the earth energy come in and fill up any places where you've been feeling unsafe. Any organ systems that need some regulation, some balance. Let the earth move into all of your energy centers, all 12 of your chakras. Even if they're way out of body or you feel like they are, go ahead and allow the earth energy to move into those spaces, making them real and accessible and practical. And as you do this, I want you to know that you are creating inroads for future generations to access this higher level information like it's just normal way to be an elder and leave a legacy. Would you also let the earth energy move into the layers of your aura? Again, making these energy layers accessible to all of us. And for those of you who are feeling the Mars retrograde fight inside yourself right now, really just difficulty or unconsciousness around the layers, just relax. Don't fight. Let all the fight go down your grounding. Would you just relieve your body of fighting for your own energy? The work that you're doing now will ripple out over time. You'll have greater and greater levels of access over the months and years to come. So don't rush your growth periods and don't fight. Do what you can tonight. Let the earth move through all 12 layers of the aura so that you're sitting in a big earthy bubble. And once you're here, would you say hello to that earth star, aka your 10th chakra? We didn't skip her, she was what we started with. As a reminder, that earth star is there as a transpersonal energy center as it relates to your connection to the earth. So you've got your root, which is very personal. And then you've got the 10th, the earth star, which is the larger connection to the planet. The 10th is activated in all of the ascended masters. Do you notice how they're on a platform? It's like a petals, lotus flowers, oftentimes they're sitting on. That's that pillar, the transpersonal connection to planet Earth. I want to give you a little tip here. You're going to want to go into this empowered, right? You're not begging to be in here. You're not begging for information. You're not clawing and groveling. If you have a desire to have access, you're the one who gives you permission to do it. If you have questions or things you want from your 10th, ask them. And then leave space for an answer. This is a really good place to trust that the resources you need are going to be there. And to go ahead and say hello to the very real times in your life where it wasn't. And begin to let that pattern go. This is where you get to choose. Do you want to go into the stress? Those patterns of mistrust that have been so real, they're very real. Or do you want to carve a new way of being on this planet in physical form? You do have to choose. And of course, you can indulge in both if you want to. But tonight's a really good invitation, an ending of the agreement for you to have to fight and struggle really hard for survival. All right, so we worked the earthy side of this energy center. Let's work the cosmic side. Would you go ahead and do the opposite of grounding? Ground out, ground up into the atmosphere. Finding a clear cosmic energy. You don't have to fight too much for this because it's all around you all the time. Would you let the cosmic energy begin to flow down from the all that is all around you? The energy that creates worlds, shifts perspectives, brings back magic, ease, flow, ideas, creativity, movement, opportunity, maturation, perspective. Would you begin to let that neutral cosmic make its way into your outer energy centers? 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. And then let the cosmic flow into your core energy centers. Meeting and greeting and dancing with the earth energy in those spaces. Let your connection to the cosmos begin to widen out and become very generous, to include all 12 layers of your aura. So you can definitely locate the 10th beneath you. But there is something you can work above you as well. So let that energy center that's kind of way out in the outer atmosphere, that is also the 10th. So you have an above and below. You've heard that saying before, right? As above, so below. The 10th is a fabulous place to work that energy. It's very much about that. So would you notice that beautiful crystalline 10th energy center way out above you? You might notice it in the outer atmosphere or even further. Would you let yourself expand, get bigger? Let your aura become huge. And I want to draw focus on the 10th layer of your aura right now. That outer energy center and the one beneath you. Would you notice the layer of the 10th is connected on all sides, 365 degrees all the way around you. And would you let this layer be sapphire blue? In the psychic realm, we call it clarity blue. So you've got that crystalline outer energy center way out there above your head, and the Earth Star way beneath your feet, and you get to be in a little bubble of sapphire blue. Now, if there are any other colors that want to come forward to be worked with in this layer and with this energy center, would you let that happen now for you? Whenever you're ready, would you let your body know that you're going to be coming out of meditation? But before you do, or even as you do, would you just have a bit of a brain dump? If there's anything that wants to come up and come out, be seen, any questions you have for this layer, anything you need to do to anchor this. And then as you're ready, stretching, breathing, slowly bringing yourself back into collective space. Alrighty. Okay. So did the 10th thing make sense? It's kind of like this, right? There's one way out here and one way below. This is pretty much where the physicality functions, is that lower, like beneath you, but there's absolutely energy way out like this. So you're like the little bean in there sitting in a bubble of that beautiful blue color. Okay, so I want to know how that went for everybody. Feel free to unmute, feel free to chat. Let me know how that, what came up for you, what happened, what you notice, where you have questions. Oh, that's funny. Kiara said, I like the idea of 10 registering both as 0 and then 10. Yeah, 10 is, thank you for bringing that up. 10th is a completion number. It's where something completes. So it goes right back to 1 again. I like that too about it. What else, you guys? These outer layers are where you really begin to be your own authority. So I'm just really excited for that. I love letting go of the responsibility of like surrogate spiritual parent, and really just becoming the guide into places where you get to be the one with the information. And that's why I don't give a lot of information about like what's in these spaces. What's most important to me about this work is that I take you into them really safely, and you are able to experience whatever is in there. When it comes to a lot of spiritual information, I think most, you know, the symbolism that you're getting is your brain's closest association with whatever energy that you're starting to interact with. And so my job here is to build that strength for you so that you can go into these places and continue to mature as you access and understand new layers of information. So tonight we're going to be talking about the Akashic records, which is a big thing in the spiritual community. There are people who really resonate with it and who end up being readers of it, teachers of it, but it is completely accessible to anybody who wants to go. And that's what we're going to be handling tonight in the 11th. Getting you cozy in that multidimensional consciousness that you are, not just the ego structure, but the divine personality structure that has many facets, and that has had many lifetimes, and that has so much information if we know how to access it. So now that you're all grounded in the 10th and super connected to your energy and safe on this planet, now you can kind of access those outer layers and go into the Akashic records in a comfortable way. So that's what we're going to be doing tonight, is accessing a bit of the Akashic records. Again, I can't tell you what's in there. I'm not going to tell you what I know in there because it's my information. I'm going to bring you into that space so that you can become the knower of this being that you're inhabiting in this lifetime. This being is an animal, but it's also a multidimensional consciousness. And the gig is kind of marrying those together and getting really comfortable with that. So that's what we're going to be doing. And then we're going to go into the digestive system. Does anybody else have anything to share? Any questions to ask? Thoughts, feelings? How's it going? Good, you guys are about the work tonight. I like it. Nobody has anything to say or ask. We're all just ready to go. Okay. Any last words? Here we go. All right. Get your body cozy. Let know that it is safe and that you're going to be leaving it for a minute. It's okay if your body freaks out when I say that. Mine does too sometimes. When we disassociate so much because of old trauma, sometimes it can be hard. Our bodies are like, don't leave. So, would you go ahead and get your body extra, extra safe? Give it some love, put your hands on it, let it know that you're not going anywhere, no one's gonna die. There aren't gonna be like astral goblins that are gonna come take you while you're out there. That's not happening, not on my watch. You are the astral goblin you seek anyway. Would you embrace that aspect of yourself, the astral traveler? Some of you guys are really good about that. You're very connected to this part of yourself. Some of us aren't as connected. That's okay. You're getting to know all the parts of you. Yeah. And if you want to get in a lie down position, since we are going heavily astral, please do so. Have all those beautiful layers of the aura around you, all those different colors, all the golds and the hues that are coming forward. That deep connection to the planet. Let your body know that it's safe. And that you're going to be right back. So would you begin to pull your consciousness up into your 7th chakra? Just sit there on top of your head. The 7th, of course, is about your wisdom, your knowledge. You don't have to go anywhere, actually. You can just open up this space and feel that connection from the 7th to the 8th. That guidance level from the 8th to the 7th. And then from the 8th to the 9th, where you have access to the astral, to the layers of agreements, different beings. And then from the 9th to that outer layer of the 10th. And then would you say hello to the 11th layer, and would you notice the color, the energy, the vibe? So you're still in the 7th, accessing the knowledge and information coming down from those outer energy centers. What do you notice about the 11th? Great way to ground the information that you're seeing is to notice the color and then describe the energy you're seeing in 3 adjectives to yourself. Sometimes in these outer layers, it can be a little like, woo, where am I? What am I doing? Just go ahead and notice the color in this space and 3 adjectives that you'd use to describe this layer of your energy. Right. So before we move entirely out of our bodies and into the Akashic record zone, I want to bring something up that I feel like is really important. This layer of the aura, the theme of it is kind of interesting. I once read this book called Energetic Boundaries, which is a fabulous book, that the 11th is about commandeering force. What an interesting thing in a Mars retrograde cycle for us to be commandeering force. Well, the way I see this play out in a lot of people, students and clients alike, so when something happens in your life where you were really off course or wasn't quite getting it, and then all of a sudden something kind of extreme happens? Car accidents, big breakups, huge shakeups. That's your 11th commandeering force. It's like, okay, my two hands are on the wheel and we are going this way. So would you notice the times in your life where your 11th had enough of your shit, had enough of you not really getting it, and did something a little extreme to get you to get it? And would you give them maybe a cosmic high five to this aspect of yourself that is so loving and present? And in a lot of ways, that self-critical aspect can be found in this space as well. That part of you that's like, I don't think you know what you're talking about. Or maybe you need a little bit more of this or a little bit more of that. This is kind of where the no can come from. So would you respect the not quite yet or the no? Because this aspect of you is very much trying to check you before you wreck you. So remember in the beginning when I said be grateful for what you have and for that infinite part of yourself that wants to create? Be grateful for that part of you that's not quite yet. It sees things that maybe you don't. But now that you're here and you're connecting, would you go ahead and see things that sometimes you don't? If you have questions about your cycles that you go through, places where you don't have what you want yet, this is a good spot to ask why, and then listen. If you find yourself wandering or going unconscious, would you just breathe? Get back in touch with that top of your head. You might even just want to massage it a little bit. It's not uncommon because most people don't go working on their 11th chakra. It's pretty common to just all of a sudden be like, wait, what am I doing? Where am I? It's okay. You're building strength. It's kind of like when you're in the gym and you get to your 3rd round of reps, and by the 8th one, you're like, okay, that's enough. That's just what you're feeling energetically. You get to these edges where your frequency doesn't have seniority, but you're building that now. So have your consciousness seated right at the top of your head. Be saying hello to that 11th layer of your aura. Notice if there's anything that you notice in this space. And know that whatever you're experiencing is the thing. That's it. That's the energy. That's what's being communicated. Again, I want to encourage you not to fight here. Just breathe and be and see what you feel. See what you see. See what you know. And before we go all the way out into the astral, I just want to come back together once more. So let your body know that you're going to be coming out of meditation. Just stretch, shake out a little bit. Let your body move. And I just want to check in with everybody as to what you're experiencing. What do you notice? What was interesting about that?
So when I was a kid, I don't really remember how old I was. Like I was old enough to be like cognizant of what was going on in my dreams, but I wasn't like old enough to really process it. I used to have dreams of this like big marble hall. And it was like this, it was like, that's the only way I know how to describe it. It was super colorful. It was like this big marble hall up on top of a hill. Well, as I got older, I started doing a little experimenting with the Akashic records and stuff, and I was like, oh, that might have been it. Like, that might have been what it was. And like literally right when I went to sit in this oven, I was like bouncing around like giddy to get up there. As I got up there, I was looking out from the inside from that marble hall, and I was like, holy shit. Like it kind of brought me back down because I was like, whoa. I was like, it all makes sense now, because like for the longest time I just hypothesized about it and I was like, yeah, whatever, like it could be like no big deal. But then seeing it from the back end, I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, this is what I've been doing this whole time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really cool.
Yes. Yeah, how old are you again? Yeah. Wait, hold on.
Did it freeze up?
Yeah. Well, how old are you again?
23.
Yeah. Perfect example. So you guys work so much from this energy. Like it's just so innate in you to be able to work from it. those of us that are a little bit older, it's so funny because I got you guys here, but those of you who have this connection just went right to it. You went right to the Akashic records because it's something that's cozy for you. For people who have a denser nervous system, you guys might have been not at that level yet. Like they didn't rocket out of their body and go to the Akashic. We're actually going to go do that now. But I fucking love that you were like, oh, I got this. Boom. And went right to it and got all your information. It's perfecto. I love that. It's just so validating to see how the nervous systems have lightened up over time, and there's access at all these other layers. That's the fun thing about being 22 years into this game and watching how the consciousness has changed. It's like hard to describe how validating it is, and how I know that, you know, the folks that are 10 years younger, because we're all sitting here doing this right now, they're all like, no, all of a sudden, and they have access that we didn't have at these ages, these kind of like gateways. Ages are kind of gateways collectively, and you're like lightening the load at whatever age you find yourself in. Whatever you go through, there's like these themes or these gateways that we go through, and as you work with them and you become more masterful with them, they open up these pathways for more people to be able to access them. It's so beautiful. I love it. Thank you for being the example of that, darling. You always are. Chelsea said, I used to have recurring dreams of the weighing of my heart. Oh wait, the weighing of the heart ceremony from ancient Egypt when I was like 5. And I was about 23 when I realized I'd been dreaming too. Right on. Yay, symbolism, dreams. Yeah. Anybody else? Anybody having a hard time accessing it? Feeling confused, feeling bewildered, that's real too. I just want to leave space and openness for all of our experiences because they are legit. And depending upon which sort of energetic gateway we find ourselves in, we can have a different experience of this, and it's all good.
Erin,
Yeah.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Hello, sorry. I'm on a phone call because I'm having Wi-Fi issues.
No problem.
This is Amanda, by the way.
Hi, honey.
Hi. So let me find my words.
It's so hard out here, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm like coming back. So my experience, like, first of all, I thought about how, like, in my business and like on my website and whatnot, it kind of started out as me like synthesizing information from other people. And in the past, like 6 months, it's been like, I got this message at some point that was like, okay, it's time to stop doing that and to like write your own messages. And so then at that point, like someone introduced me to the Akashic records and they were like, you should try this prayer, whatever. So I did. And like, I've only gone in a couple of times, but every time it's just been like really easy, like so much flow. And the message came, and then like people were like resonating with it and whatnot. And so when I went in just now, it was like this kind of like image of this timeline and all of these things that have happened like since I was a child. Those moments, like you said, like there was a literal like car accident for me, and just all these like chaotic extreme events that happened to like knock me out of these paths that I was going down that were just not, it was like I was living someone else's expectations or whatever. And so then like it was like I could see it all at once, that it was all this like zoomed out version of this timeline and how it like small it was, and also how it was all like so connected in order to like get me from like where like where I was headed and like back to this kind of path that I was supposed to be walking down the whole time. And it just gave me such gratitude for like all of those things that were so hard to go through. And then like it tied back into like, those are all of the messages, and then like it's all connected, and those are the messages that I'm kind of here to share. And it's not like about me getting messages from other people, but it's about me like giving my own messages and like, this is why and that's why. It was just like so much clarity about what everything was all for.
Yes. This is really where we start to restore trust in the process. 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, all of that, having access to this kind of information. Doesn't it make you trust the process a lot more? And the ability to know that everything is for a reason. And now you can have foresight because you guys have built all these other abilities and all these other connections, so that this part of you doesn't have to throw chaos in your space to get you to get back on the path again. You're right there with it. You're giggling alongside of it going, whoops, made a mistake there. Whoops, said that wrong, or wasn't listening, or yep, now I get it, you know. But you can feel that in an instant, rather than I'm lost. What am I doing? Where am I going? Why am I here? For like years on end before this part of you is like, oh my God, get it. And it's not out of like even irritation or like, you know, the way I said it because of Mars retrograde, but it's more so like, okay, get this, you know, and it doesn't have to force anything or push you really hard anymore, because you're a cooperative component and you know how to listen to this part of yourself. It's one of my favorite parts about being psychic, is that everything both enlivens and almost calms down at the same time too, because you have access to these parts. Thank you for sharing that. Was there somebody else that wanted to share? I think we had a three-way internet thing going on. Anybody else?
I don't want to share so much as ask a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm just curious, like I went in there and I was able to get a little information, but I felt a little bit of that, like after a while I was like, okay, like trying to focus on this place and it's not super, I'm not like 100% present there yet. But I'm just wondering, like, I'm so curious about what kinds of like questions you would bring there, or what kind of, yeah, like what kind of information you would be choosing to like work with the 11th to go to, like.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is going to be answered when we go up into the Akashic. I think there'll be themes that pop up in that space that make it a little bit clearer, but mostly like everybody has a different relationship to it, right? Like I have now over time have built a very real relationship with each one of these, but it took me a while to have a real relationship with it. So I would treat it like the part of you that is a little bit harsher. Do you know that part? That part that's like, I don't know. I understand it how I understand it. So I'm not sure how you understand it. But there is a part of me that's very like, no. It's very much just like, it's not placating to my ego. It's not going to rush because I want it to rush. It's very much this part of me that's like almost Saturnian in a way. And I have to be like almost be in Congress with it, in like a panel meeting with it, where I sit and I go, okay, memory of all that is, all the different parts of me. What am I missing from this right now? Why can't I move forward in this way? Or why do I feel like I'm misunderstanding this? Please, I'm ready to know now. And I've cleared out enough of my energy frequency to be able to hear those messages now. And kind of, I know when I'm supposed to go there. There's a particular kind of stuckness that I feel, that I know I'm just like bouncing around in the lower chakra stuff and the answer's not there. It's because I've kind of cut myself off and I'm just being a human. When I reconnect to all that stuff, I listen to that 11th layer and I'm just like, what do you need me to get right now that I'm not getting? Because I'm getting walls, I'm getting no's, I'm getting all these places where I don't quite have the info yet. I'm ready to access the info. I also notice when I hit walls on a physical level, like I have ADD, ADHD, and because of that, that's like a trauma response to this world and my psychic abilities as one. So I know that when I feel that way, that it's time for me to let go of the trauma around my psychic abilities and around what that's meant in this world and go into them completely and allow myself to be guided in that way. And so that's how I understand it. But one of the things that's happening right now is that you guys are going to go into that place and find your own questions, find your own way that you relate to that part. But like I said, over the years, I've noticed there's a somatic kind of stuckness, and then there's a mental kind of stuckness, and then there's like a spiritual kind of stuckness that I feel when it's time for me to engage with the Akashic, and I'm not quite getting it. I'm trying to work it out with my lower energy centers. Does that make sense?
It does. I'm also wondering if this is like the place when people pick up on reading past lives, is this also like kind of the location that this would be?
1,000%. This
Okay.
is it. Yeah. Every past life and every future life is really in this space.
That makes a lot of sense because I was like, some the stuff that was coming up in my mind was definitely like very much like deep soul decisions for the future.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of times when people tune into this, I don't want to program you guys too much, but I also kind of want to hype it a little bit. Like, there's a lot of stuff when you unlock this layer that all of a sudden you're like, oh, I know how to speak a different language really easily now. Oh, I know how to like, ever since I've unlocked this layer, I have the patience to read through direction manuals for mechanical things. Never had that ability before. All of a sudden, my dad's like mechanical brain just like turned on, and I have access to the patience to do it and the ability to actually know what I'm reading. Before it would be like I was reading Mandarin. I had no idea. But now it's something that comes pretty easily to me. So a lot of times when we have interests in all these different things, once you activate the 11th and you have a deeper connection to your Akashic, a more intimate connection to your multidimensional personality, all of a sudden you become that multidimensional personality. You're this type of person and you're that type of person. And those two things normally don't go together, but in you they do. And all of a sudden you have a level of like acuity and ability that you didn't really have before. That's the hallmark of kind of really getting all your info from the Akashic.
That's where I learned astrology, really. I was like remembering it, and it was just like,
Yep.
so that, okay, that's very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Anybody else? Questions, thoughts?
I kind of have so my experience with looking at the 11th was like breaking through this wall that was like the solar system and then kind of like crashing through to the other side. And the energy of it for me was like fast. What did I write down? It's not even coming. Oh, like, yeah, fast, breaking through barriers and boundaries and like very light and super quick. And it's interesting because then I just got real spacey after that. Like all of it was so clear, and then I just got like so spacey in all of it.
Yeah. Yeah, you just hit it. You hit your nervous system's edge. it's called a frequency fence. Like you can only hold so much energy in that space. It's why I said, you know, when you get to like your third round of reps, if anybody's ever been a gym person or ever worked out, I think it's really important as a body to do that. The integration that happens during exercise is super, super important. And so when you get to that, you know, third rep, you might be like, oh my God, I can't do it anymore. And you're like, oh, and you got to dig down beneath that part of your brain that's like, I can't do this, into the part of your body that's like, I can absolutely do this. I have way more capacity here. And so when you hit those frequency fences, you know, whatever emotional tone gets you through that, I like relaxation. I'm like, oh, look, I hit a frequency fence around that. I must have hit the edge of where my nervous system can handle information. And that's fine. I want to honor that some days. And then other days, I'm like, fuck that. I'm done with this edge. I want to build strength. I'm here to work out. I am here to push myself into places that I haven't been before. So there's kind of one of two answers that I utilize in that moment. But yeah, that's basically what it is. And you're going to find them a lot out here, you guys, because did your great grandmother talk about her 11th chakra? Were we having public conversations about Akashic records even 10 years ago? Not really. They were like, you know, weirdo hippie sites that did stuff like that. Now we're all a bunch of normal people who like pay our bills and are getting through the late stage capitalism that we find ourselves in, talking about this stuff like it's normal. So those frequency fences are understandable. And yet the more you bust through them, the more energy you'll be able to hold.
Cool, thank you.
You're welcome. Hold on one second. Where I said some beautiful things. I was going to pop in there. For me, the idea of childhood re-remembering is very present. When I was younger, I would reenact rituals with my toys that came out of nowhere. But in my interpretation, I was remembering past life events stored. How else would a 5-year-old never exposed in that lifetime feel the need to mark seasonal rituals? Exactly. Yeah, welcome to the 11th. Do you see how active it's actually been for us? We just didn't really know what was happening. Now you get to utilize it in your regular life. And yes, the 11th, if you identify as a witch, you have been working with the 11th your entire life. Absolutely. And if you're really active, like you have a lot of Pisces energy or Neptune heavy and you dream a lot, your 11th has been active your whole life. This is not unfamiliar to you at all. Right on. Yeah, let's go up into the Akashic and then we're going to say hello to our digestive system, which I just love. We're just saying hello to, anchoring it right into the digestive tract. Okay. So go ahead and get your body cozy. Would you just be in a lot of trust with yourself? I feel like that's like half of what I'm bringing is just trust that we can do this. So let's go for it. Get your body nice and grounded, rooted into the center of the earth. And then would you just do what feels the most right to all of us psychic people and float out of your damn body? Bye-bye. Would you go out through the 7th, up through the 8th, 9th, 10th? And would you go out into your Akashic records? Maddie nailed it. There is kind of a temple vibe that you'll find. Would you go find your temple? And would you stand outside of it? Notice what the Akashic records zone looks like. And whatever you're seeing in your mind's eye is the place. That's it. Now, I want you to knock on the door and go ahead and go in. You are now in the place of all of your soul's memories. Time, of course, is not real here. So there's past lifetimes, there's future lifetimes. None of that matters. They're all the same. And there's this lifetime. And if you would like to understand or to bring back or to bring forth any of the things that you're looking to bring into this lifetime, would you find that information now? And just as a reminder, if you're in this space, you're already absorbing all the things you need to be absorbing. Okay? You've got all the layers of your aura, you got all 12 of your chakras on. Just go ahead and absorb whatever you need to absorb from around you. And of course, if you've got some deep questions for your life that you would like answered, this is a good spot to ask those. And then go ahead and receive. And while you're in here, will you ask for any gifts that you are going to need? And then would you receive? All right, one last reconnection here to something that I think you should have access to. You have an Akashic records keeper in this space. You should know them. They should know you. They are the protectors of your information. In a real way, they are the protector of your soul, and they are a part of you. You are them, and they are you. But because you're in a human form, it might have a different type of personality, different kind of way of being. Would you say hello to the Akashic Records Keeper in this space? Would you let them know that you're going to be in here more often and that you'd like to have a relationship? Would you get to know their voice and the way that they communicate with you? right. Would you let them know that you are very grateful? Give them a high five, whatever feels right. And then would you begin to make your way back down into your physical form? Go ahead and move from the 11th to the 10th. Notice how it's different. Moving from the 10th to the 9th. And then the 8th as the soul star, and back into your 7th, just hop right back into your crown. Fluff out your crown. Make it nice and crown-like. And then would you take your hands and just kind of push on, pinch, squeeze your joints, shoulders, elbows, wrists. Wring out your hands a little bit. Press on your belly, your hips, your legs. The joints are where you really come back in from being in the astral. So if you ever wake up in the morning and you're kind of like half in, half out, just start to kind of pinch through your joints. All the way down into your feet. It's really helpful. Just come on back into your body. Oh, all right. I want to give some space to talk about whatever is important for you to share. A lot of times, I have an interesting relationship with my Akashic Records keeper, and oftentimes I'm not allowed to share. And so I want to honor that if you're feeling that. But if you do feel like you want to put something out there, I'm here. We are here.
So I just want to say this stuff out loud because it feels like so crazy to me, but also like makes a ton of sense. So I actually met my Akashic Records keeper in the first go around, and like it was like an immediate connection. And I was like, this is me, but it's not me, and it's capital I, not
Yeah.
like that's it. That's all it was going as. And it was like definitely feminine, but almost like the cross between like a Gandalf and like a Khaleesi with 3 eyes, which I thought was super dope. And it was like they were very like what's the word? Like covered in like jewels and stuff, and like very sumptuous. That's the word I guess I'd use. So yeah, I just felt the need to say that out loud because that was super cool.
I love that. I really
Yeah,
love that.
it was fun.
That's so cool. Mine's like a very flamboyant gay man who is extremely sassy, very sassy. And as I've anchored more of my personality, I notice this aspect of me is like in my personality really intensely. And so it's funny that we all have such different relationships with it, which is almost why I don't like sharing too much about my own relationship to things, because I don't want you guys to get programmed thinking that this is how it is. This is just my relationship. That's Maddie's relationship. You know, each person has a different way that we interact or that we're like even bringing in, you know what I mean? Like I'm supposed to be bringing in a lot of this information and a lot of that type of my personality, but there's different agreements at every lifetime and at every level. So whatever you're experiencing, I want you guys to know that that's normal and that's what should be happening. Sammy shared a gorgeous Indian woman who smiles and speaks Hindu, to which I seem to understand, right? Do you ever have those dreams where somehow they're speaking a different language, but you get it? That's so 11th. Very feminine and wise, smiles with her eyes. I love that. Beautiful. Oh, good. So really just allowing yourself to expand that relationship this week. Keep going into the 11th, keep going into your Akashic records and getting whatever it is that you need in that moment. This is a safe place for you to be more often. And it is a safe place for you to take information from that zone and bring it into your life. And we're going to do that right now as we bring it into our digestive tract. The digestive system is something that a lot of empaths and psychics have a rough time with. It has been probably one of my number one issues in my lifetime. And a lot of that is because of the kind of food that we grew up on. We're very sensitive humans, but we grew up eating red dye 40 and corn syrup and all of these things that kind of really mess with our ability to digest information. This has a lot to do with why people don't understand their impulses. They don't understand the messages that are coming through. We're going to clear that bullshit out tonight, and we're going to really anchor our energy into this space so that you can have the beauty of not only just your Akashic records, but your earth experience here, and your ability to sort of rewrite agreements for yourself and understand where you're at around that, and understand your path and have that beautiful sort of parental self that's on and activated, and have your wisdom and information, and have your knowledge, and have your vision, and have your communication, and have your personality, and have your vitality, and have your sensuality and sexuality, and have your safety and well-being. So all of that energy belongs completely integrated into the physical form. Let me share with you, I just figured out that I can share photos while I'm on this app. I love this app. Okay, there we go. There's our digestive tract from top to bottom, from tongue to anus. Those are all the different structures: mouth, teeth, tongue, epiglottis, salivary glands, pharynx, esophagus, into the stomach, and then into the gallbladder and pancreas, and the small intestine. And as the small intestine moves into the appendix, it goes into the large intestine, down into the rectum, and out through your anus. So there it is. Would you take a look at this system and begin to feel your own? Interesting. Elsa said the digestive system releasing the past has been a huge theme for me this week. Such good timing. Hell yeah. Maddie said, ironic, this is today. I just went to the dentist this afternoon. Yeah. Yeah. So there it is. Whenever you feel like it's time for you to go in, you've seen enough here. Would you begin? I'm just going to lead it with gold, actually, since we're moving into the 12th next week. Would you saturate your tongue, teeth, mouth, and throat in gold? Gold, of course, is unconditional love and forgiveness. It's kind of like the karma destroyer. Let the gold move down your esophagus into your stomach. And I'm a big fan of using those hand chakras. So would you go ahead and hold your stomach right over there on the left side? Maybe give it a little squeeze. And tune in, listen. What's your stomach need to communicate with you today? Anything that's been hard for you to digest, to break down? Not only physical stuff, you might get some info about foods, but But you also might get some info about experiences and emotions and thought patterns. And let the gold run through the structures of your stomach, rebalancing hydrochloric acid, letting go of any foreign substances in that place that don't need to be in there, any like biofilms or any damage from the past. Let them begin to move through the stomach sphincters past the liver and gallbladder. That's the first thing that your food meets. Would you move your hands over from the left side to the right side, saying hello to the liver and gallbladder? Your liver, of course, processes any substances in the body, processes any toxic loads. And again, I don't want to program whatever energy you're finding in this space, but it's common to find a shit ton of anger in the liver. It's right there at the third. Makes sense. So if you've got rage like I do, would you say hello to that in this space and begin to relieve yourself of the generations of anger that our human self can sometimes find ourselves in? Using that gold to run forgiveness, unconditional love through the liver into the gallbladder. Sometimes the gallbladder backs up in some people. That's happened to me before. Go ahead and run gold in the gallbladder, clearing space. The gallbladder dumps into the beginning of the small intestine as it rounds its way into the longer part of it. But before we get there, would you say hello to the pancreas? Pancreas holds the energy around the sweetness of life. Would you run some beautiful kind of champagne gold through that space, bringing back the sweetness and the recognition of the sweetness of life? I notice I'm a person who gets really bogged down by the heaviness of humanity. And when I do that, I disconnect from the sweetness and then I crave sugar. So if you're one of my fellow sugar fiends, the more time you spend connecting to the sweetness, working with the intelligence of your pancreas, the more you will heal that addiction and find a positive relationship to sugar and sweetness. Following the gold down into the length of the small intestine. I remember reading something at one point in my life that said that if you were to stretch out the small intestine in each human, it would circle the globe, I think 3 times, is long. And every bit of it is needed for digestion. So would you say hello to all the bacterias and microbiome and microviome and all the friends in there that are microscopic that help digestion along? Would you run gold over all of it? Forgiving, loving, including everything going on in there. And then that small intestine on your lower right hand side, move your hands down to that lower right side. It dumps into the large intestine, and at the bottom is this lymph tissue that we call the appendix. Now everybody's kind of freaked out by the appendix because it all of a sudden freaks out and blows in people. Would you say hello to your appendix? And would you ground the appendix? Let any of the pressure of life start to move out of the appendix into the earth. Take a big deep breath. Let the gold run from the appendix up the ascending colon, back up towards your liver again. And then the transverse colon across your belly toward your stomach again. On the left side. And then your descending colon down your left side into the deep belly, into your hips where you will find the rectum and then your anus. Would you run gold through all of that? And of course, the tantric in me won't breeze by the anus without saying that there are beautiful releases that can happen, not only in your vaginal canal with G-spots, but there are also G-spots in your anal canal as well. And I highly recommend that you get in there and experience them. They're important for your lower chakras. They're important for your release. They're important for your pleasure. So would you notice that, yes, this is part of your digestive system, but it's also part of a pleasure system. And now any other colors that want to come in and anchor in this system that are needed for your highest expression, your healing. Would you go ahead and work with those now if you haven't already? Taking a big, deep breath, would you bring oxygen to your digestive system? Let's do that a few more times because it feels so good. Big deep breaths as you pull earth and cosmic through your digestive system and releasing down your grounding cord. Big deep breath. As you're here breathing, would you begin to let your body know you're going to be coming out of meditation, ending class, beginning the rest of your evening. Come on out whenever you're ready. Oh, beautiful work, everybody. Really beautiful work. It is not easy to exist out here. I want to give props to my fifth chakra for somehow being able to make information make sense on a human level. And I want to really congratulate you guys for getting here. We've got one more class to go. We're going to be doing the 12th, which is all about where the divine and the corporal form really meet and rock and roll. So, and then we're going to be doing a Christ Force healing, which is a really beautiful 12D healing. But until then, enjoy your digestive system. Do everything you can to love it up this week, which mostly is tuning into it and just doing the healing work, listening to that whole organ system and reclaiming that part of your body for you and your energy. Each one of these systems that we've gone through has a lot of disconnection, disassociation, and then in its place a lot of like Western medical programming in there and a lot of victimization. So the more you can move that stuff out and move you in, the better. And then also next week we'll be going through all of the systems again and just saying hello to them, running energy through them, integrating them, bringing them fully on board. So if you feel like they're popping up this week, certain particular ones, you're not wrong. They're about to have a whole healing next week as well. All right. Mwah! Thank you so much for being here. I'll talk to you soon.